Hey, Christopher, the podcast Life as a. Recently, I came across this Forbes article that was ranking the best jobs that you can get without a degree. Number 2 on that list, cybersecurity analyst. Another fun fact about cybersecurity, you don't need any IT background to get into that sector. Now, if you don't believe any of this, take it from my guest. She's a top educator and expert in the field of cybersecurity, and she's here for this episode to break down the opportunities for people that are looking to get into this space. Now, I would love a like or a comment, and better yet, hit the subscribe button. It's the best way to be introduced to new career ideas right here on this channel, Life as a. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Cybersecurity is a very diverse field, and I think that is probably the biggest misconception. People think, oh, I'm not a programmer, I can't be in cybersecurity. Oh, I'm not tech enough, I can't be in cybersecurity. I'm not a hacker, you can be in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a huge, huge field. We need people. I think that the biggest misconception is what a cybersecurity professional looks like and what a hacker looks like. Hackers come in all shapes, sizes, backgrounds. Honestly, they come from so many different backgrounds, and they are such diverse thinkers, which enables them to attack people. And people don't understand cybersecurity or information security is not a technological problem. It's a human problem. Between 85 and 95% of all security incidents involve the human factor. So we need people from different backgrounds with diverse points of views to protect organizations. We need people who are more analytical. We need people who are problem solvers. We need marketers. For example, talking about cybersecurity within the organization is not something that for a lot of cybersecurity professionals, it's something that does not come naturally. For us, it's much easier to run to the tech and talk about, oh, look at this crazy vulnerability. It exploits this and this and this in the code. Well, the board of directors really don't care. They don't care which vulnerability is exploited. They only care about the business context. But a lot of technological professionals find it very hard to look at that perspective. So in cybersecurity, we need people from so many different backgrounds that I always say there's something in cybersecurity for almost everyone. You just
Yeah.
have to find your specific niche.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. I really like that. That's getting back to the point I made earlier of, having several different guests on this program with backgrounds in cybersecurity. One particular, Chris Hadnaghi, who strongly recommended that we get in touch and we speak.
He's
But,
amazing.
he himself had a really great episode on his company, Social Engineering, as well as another individual from their company, actually a couple, but one in particular, a behavioral psychologist who speaks to this point that you're raising, right? Like coming from a very specialized background but is operating within this field of cybersecurity and social engineering and trying to help protect other organizations and individuals from individuals that are out there to do some harm. So yeah, I think that's a really, really valid point there. And it just opens up, I guess, that the world of possibility for people who are considering this line of work, essentially.
My career, as I said earlier, took so many twists and turns. I had to go through various, very different roles to realize what I love about cybersecurity and what I hate. For example, a lot of people aspire to be penetration testers. That's actually what I did on my first role. That was my
Hmm.
first role in cybersecurity. I was a pen tester. Unfortunately, I
Okay.
hated it.
Okay. For people who don't know what that is, maybe you could just give a really quick overview of what that would
Oh,
be.
absolutely. So, penetration tester is basically an ethical hacker. I was paid by companies to hack them. So
Yeah.
that was the idea. So I had to do the research just like any other malicious hacker, but I did it. I use my powers for good, usually. No, I use them for good. I still do, at least I try to. So basically, it's researching the company, finding where their vulnerabilities lie. It could be, by the way, to Chris Hadgani's point, it could,
Yeah.
in many cases, combine social engineering as well. It's much
Yeah.
easier for me to get your password just by talking to you and getting you to give me your password than hacking your
Hmm.
password. So in many cases, that will be the first stage. For me, the research part, what we call today threat intelligence or cyber reconnaissance, there are a lot of terms for it. I love that. The actual
Yeah.
technical side of trying to technically hack the company, I found that so boring. I really hated it.
Mm.
And at some point I said, well, maybe cybersecurity is not for me. No,
Yeah.
that part of cybersecurity is not for me. It's wrong for my personality. There's no way I will enjoy that because it's something that is it's very specific, it's
Yeah.
repetitive, it's going to the bits and bytes, and that's not me because I like looking at the bigger picture. And again, that's a personality trait. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with my technical abilities. Can I program? Yes. Do I like programming? No, I hate it in every fiber of my being. My husband is an engineer. He loves it with every
Yeah.
fiber of his thing. That's
Yeah.
fine. Maybe that's why we work well together.
I think it speaks to that point of refinement, as far as careers go, like you get into a field and most industries are fairly well developed. There's several different avenues that you could be going down. And sometimes the only way to find out what you like and what you don't like is just by, dipping your toes into a few different ones, spending a year here, spending a couple of years doing this. That's where it gets refined. And I think that's a misconception for a lot of people, again, when we're considering careers that you have to have it all figured out when you enter into this field, when you enter into this industry. You can't make any mistakes along that way. Well, the truth of it is most professionals like yourself are trying a few things out and then they find what they want, what they like, and that's where things usually start to take off. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, be sure to check out the full-length audio version. There we dive into so much more. More in the way of this great career pathway story, more in the way of tips to thrive and survive in the cybersecurity sector, as well as how AI is shifting and changing things around. Again, you can find this wherever you access your podcast. Just do that search for Life as a ... As I mentioned off the top too, I would love a comment, I would love a like. Better yet, I would love a subscribe. I think it's the best way for you to be introduced to future job opportunities. And who knows, you might just find your dream job that way. All right, I'll have a new career coming right your way next week, so don't miss it. All right, we'll see you then.